What's up, guys? So, the title of this video is something about mod scarcity, and I know that that's probably not a very popular term, probably not something you've necessarily heard of. So, first thing I want to do is kind of just explain what I mean by that. And I'm using my Zaku here as an example because Zaku is one of, I think, very few frames that goes for absolutely max range. Now, obviously, max range comprises of 4 mods. You got Overextended, Stretch, Augur Reach, and Cunning Drift. Now, when I say mod scarcity, I am referring to the fact that there are 4 total mods that increase ability range. And if we're being honest, Cunning Drift doesn't really count, because 15% is a extremely negligible increase. It is as much percent that a red Archon Shard gives you in duration or strength. So this is like not really a mod. So in reality, you have 3 range mods to choose from. One of them includes a negative to your strength, and then the other 2 are actually just free bonuses. And I think this is kind of a long-standing issue in Warframe in terms of build crafting, because it makes it extremely hard to ever get a good spread of stats. So if you want to get all 4 of your stats to be, decently high, it's really, really hard to get all 4 of them above like 150%. While still having room for, energy economy stuff, like energy max, any survivability you may want, or without neutering 1 stat in the process. And this not only affects range, obviously ability efficiency is even more egregious, with there being 1, 2, and 3 mods total that affect ability efficiency. And Boreal's Hatred, once again, I don't really think this counts, because I don't think 15% is a relevant number. So if you want some efficiency on your build, man, you got 2 options. And this kind of... quite frankly, this sucks. There is 1 more ability efficiency mod than there are mods that reduce your ability efficiency. And when you put it like that, it's so incredibly hard to mod for efficiency, which is why I think Nourish is the most popular subsume in the game, because in an attempt to have good energy economy, you can't really get a manageable efficiency, so you have to resort to just having crazy energy regen via Nourish. And this problem even extends to, in my opinion, ability duration. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4 mods for ability duration. Once again, you do have Naira's Hatred, but I'm not counting 15%. 4 ability duration mods. So now we're at 3 range mods, 4 duration mods, and 2 efficiency mods. But then, even past that, there are so many more ways to get strength than just mods. Obviously, I included an aura mod, which counts as a mod, but the aura slot in modern day Warframe, I think, is kind of free. I don't really ever think about what I'm going to put in the aura slot. I pretty much just put growing power, or if it's a frame that I don't actually care about, then I just put whatever fits in the polarity. So growing power is basically always there. If you need other ways to get strength, you've got Molt Augmented, which is the most non-committal, easiest strength gain in the entire game. You've got Bellicose if you're on a very high health frame. There are just... Isn't there? Yeah, you can search for abilities. Kamisato gives ability strength. Ice Storm gives ability strength. It does also give duration. Impetus gives strength. It also gives efficiency. Power Ramp gives ability strength. Molt Vigor gives ability strength. There's so many ways to get ability strength. But then, for duration, the only two ways to get them here from arcanes is to either always have your shields up, which is kind of a tall ask, because even on, like, Revenant, I mean, my shields are dropping on him because he just, like, gets hit through Mesmer Skin sometimes. I don't really know how that happens. And then Ice Storm, which requires you to be freezing enemies actively. So in other words, if you're not on Frost, this is, like, barely happening. And so, obviously, you know, I don't think this is necessarily, like, a big problem in the game, but I think it's something that the more time goes on, the more I get, like, kind of disappointed. Because if I'm theory crafting a build, and I'm like, oh man, really wish I could have, like, a little bit more duration on here, but I already have Prime Continuity, and I need range, so I can't afford to slot Narrow-Minded. I already have Prime Continuity slotted, and I go, oh, what are my other options? Oh, right, Augur Message for 24%, or Constitution for 28%. I mean, it feels really bad to have to slot such a small bonus, because that's all you have left. Now, for things like efficiency, which has a cap of 175, you cannot go above 175 efficiency, I understand that having more than 2, technically 3, efficiency mods could be a waste. But if you're not using Fleeting Expertise, you cannot hit the efficiency cap with mods, because you can only get to 45 then with Streamline and Hatred. So, and then by using Expertise, you are also then negating your duration. So if you want to get max efficiency, you have to neuter your duration. Which just, I don't see why it is that way. Why does it have to be that way? And then range, because people have asked DE a lot about primed stretch. And I believe, I'm pretty sure I remember this, but I might be Mandela affecting myself. I believe that they said no, because when range gets above 300%, a lot of abilities start having bugs. Which I think they were visual, but they were also mechanical bugs, like the ability stopped functioning properly. Which, in that case, it can seem strange to add another range mod and be able to get above 300% range. But very simply, cap range at 300%. If 300% range is the problem, just put a cap on it like you do efficiency, and then let us reach that 300% with whatever combination of mods we want. Not, you can reach 280 if you slot all 4 of the options at your disposal. And this, I think this really is a problem, because in duration, efficiency, and range, and all 3 of the ability stats other than strength, by max slotting for the stat, you have to use a corrupted mod. If you want max duration, you have to take Narrow-Minded, which means you have to kill your range. If you want max range, you have to take Overextended, which means you have to cut your strength. If you want max efficiency, you have to take Fleeting Expertise and cut your duration. This is the real reason why I think that there needs to be, in general, more duration mods, more efficiency mods, more range mods. Because there's a lot of builds where I would love to run. I mean, Zaku is actually a great example, right? When I was making this build, I got to this point, and I was like, okay, well, what can I put in this slot? Well, I would really like just some more duration. That's kind of the only thing that I would like here. And so I looked for duration, and I noticed, well, the only option, I have Narrow-Minded, but it's Zaku. I need range for my 2, because that affects the targets, or the amount of guns you can have. So I can't take Narrow-Minded, which means my options are Constitution for 28%, or Augur Message for 24%. And obviously, as you can see, I'm 1 capacity off of Constitution, so I'm not going to Forma again just to get 4% more ability duration. This is exactly a scenario where I really, really wish I had another ability duration mod. Maybe that was 45. Oh, I guess Prime Continuity is 55. Maybe 40% duration to put here. Because that is a substantial increase from Constitution and Message, but it's not so close to Prime Continuity that you might as well not slot it, and it's certainly not keeping up with Narrow-Minded. And obviously, on a frame like Zaku, I really can't run Molt Efficiency because, you know, I'm using Condemn here to just kind of refresh a very large shield capacity. But if I'm getting shot at, this breaks very quickly. And I can't run Ice Storm because I don't have freeze abilities, and I'm not... My guns are killing things, so I'm not able to consistently stack up this, the enemy frozen trigger. Now, obviously, I mean, the easy solution is to just make mods that are like, you know, continuity, intensify, streamline, all those, that just say, give ability duration, give ability range, give efficiency. Obviously, you kind of have to make them not just the same. So I would like to see maybe, you know, an 11 cost mod, which gives 40% duration. Or a... stretch is 9 cost. Maybe an 11 cost range mod that gives like 55% or 60%. And then for streamline, maybe you could even make it 11 cost and give 45%, because Fleeting Expertise is 11 cost, gives 60%, but it also lowers. So you could get straight in the middle there. That's the easy solution, and I would be fine with that. However, I would also really like to see more combinations of corrupted mods, right? Because currently all we really have is we have the 5, right? We have the overextended, blind rage, narrow-minded, transient fortitude, fleeting expertise. And while that's cool, I think it would be nice to see maybe a plus efficiency minus strength, plus efficiency minus range. You know, I don't think, maybe we don't need all of the combinations of plus and minus, but I don't think having a couple more would hurt. And I do think, since it's on this build, the invocation mods from the Grimoire, I think this was kind of a subtle acknowledgement from DE that they know it's an issue, because they gave us an efficiency, a duration, a strength. Once again, they did not give us range, because what I said, I'm pretty sure that they said that there were bugs. But they also gave us energy regen. I think they did this because they were acknowledging that, you know, especially efficiency and duration, that the sources for these are lacking. I also think when they were making shards, they did a duration, they included duration on the Crimson because they acknowledged that duration was lacking. I was really expecting there to be, on either the Amber or the Blue Shard, a way to give yourself efficiency or range. I think Blue Shards being able to give efficiency would be, like, insane, and I think it would push Blue Shards into relevancy, like, pretty easily. Again, I understand why Shards don't give range because of the 300% thing, but apply the cap to range, and I don't see what's wrong with it. You could give it to Amber Shards, or you could give it to one of the combination Shards. And yeah, other than that, I mean, most of the ways to get... Actually, there is one thing to note, which is that there are a couple abilities that can give you ability strength, right? You've got Nidus Link, you've got Equinox's, what is it, her passive on one of her forms, like when you switch to it. And then you've got Empower from Helminth. But yeah, there are specific ways for abilities to grant you or allies more strength. But there are no abilities that give you more efficiency. There are no abilities that give you more duration. No abilities give you more range. None of that. And I think strength, having a million sources for it, is fine. Because obviously strength, realistically, if your strength was at 500% versus 600%, you would not see a difference, really. Which is why they do it, because strength, it doesn't doesn't really matter how much we get. But they're keeping duration and efficiency and range extremely limited. And I really wish that, like, these could be experimented with more so we could have more variety in these frames like Zaku, who kind of want 280 range. They want to get all the range they possibly can. But having this one route to go for it, I mean, kind of sucks. Another potential idea for the corrupted mods is that we could go beyond trading ability stats for ability stat. You could do plus efficiency and then maybe minus energy max, plus duration, minus, you know, shields. Obviously, minusing shields, you run into, like, the catalyzing shields problem, but maybe you minus shield gate duration. Something like that to get even more creative with corrupted mods, because I think corrupted mods are a really cool concept, and they could easily be expanded on really well. So yeah, that's kind of it for mod scarcity. Let me know if you guys agree with me or if you think I'm crazy. This is definitely something that I don't think I've heard a lot of people talk about, if any at all. But it's something I've definitely kind of been frustrated with throughout the years, of having so few options for getting duration, getting range. Duration is the big one, because there are a lot of frames that you can really dump efficiency and range and just max out strength and duration. But then even on those frames, when you max out your strength with, you know, all the mods, then you try to go do the same for duration, and you can only get up to like 200% or something like that. And that kind of sucks, at least in my opinion. If you guys think I'm crazy, let me know. If you have any other ideas for, you know, mods that could, maybe more corrupted mod ideas, or just ways for us to potentially get more duration, efficiency, range, whether that be through Archon shards or through something else, leave it in the comments. But yeah, that was kind of all I had for today. So see you guys in the next one. I do want to let you guys know that I will be going back to college coming up in a few days here. So whenever you hear a abrupt change in audio quality, that's why. I'm also going into my senior year, so have, you know, projects and stuff that I'm gonna have to be working on. Research is going to be happening, so if uploads slow down, maybe if they stop completely, that's why. It's just kind of how it is. I'm in college first, and then I am someone who creates YouTube videos and talks about Warframe. Obviously, this does not pay right now, so I cannot prioritize it over my education. But I'll do my best if I have free time to try and record videos for you guys. Your support means the world. Thank you all. But yeah, thanks for watching.